Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to the old Star Wars fan channel. And today we got some news about The Bad Batch, Star Wars Visions, and The Mandalorian Season 3. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest, two out of three of those I'm excited about. I really didn't care for Star Wars Visions. The story was great, or the stories were great. The animation style just irritated me for some reason. Maybe I'm a bit of a traditionalist, but I like my animation style to look like it's animation, not like one of my nieces or nephews drew it. Okay? That's just that's just my opinion. Now the stories were great. Animation style just didn't match up. But anyway, this is from Bespin Bulletin. A Lucasfilm debuts new trailers for Mandalorian Season 3, Bad Batch Season 2, Star Wars Visions, and more at Disney's APAC showcase. Now, of course, that's their hello there, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about Indiana Jones 5, which I could frankly care less about. Okay, here we go. Lucasfilm reportedly kicked things off with a new trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3. The only description regarding the trailer showcased at APAC references Din or Din Djarin attempting to make amends for removing his helmet. So now he has to go to Mandalore. He has to bathe in the waters of Mandalore. Do they still exist? Who knows what's going on? Bo-Katan apparently will be Din's enemy this season. I can't say I'm surprised by that because at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, he has the dark saber. So according to ancient tradition, he should be leading the Mandalorian people. Now, again, I go back to my catchphrase, the legends are just better. If you've ever read, Legacy of the Force or any of any stories surrounding Boba Fett, you kind of know what happened there. They went back, they got the planet, they were able to build spaceships out of that Beskar still, and people just loved it. I'm sorry, Beskar still, people loved it. So, Boba Fett literally became the leader of Mandalore. So, I know and I understand that Disney's taken their own spin on this. I appreciate the fact that they're keeping the stories consistent, with what's happening in Boba Fett and what's happening in in the Mandalorian. At least they have consistency in their own universe. Um, Katie Sackhoff still playing Bo-Katan, I think is great. I think she did good as the voice of Bo-Katan for years, and seeing her come back to revise the role is always great. I always liked her as an actress. I'm glad her kind of attitude she had on Longmire is gone, and she's just thankful to be working. For those of you who don't know, there was a time whenever she was almost kicked off of Longmire because of some stuff she did. But anyway, I'm glad that's kind of over and done with, because no one likes to be on a set with people who just obviously don't want to be there. As the trailer shown, at least from its description, it sounds like a retread of the teaser trailer, which I mean a lot of us have seen. It shows, of course, a bunch of Mandalorians. They're on Mandalore. There should be a bunch of them. And I think they're finally going to address the issue of there being two mentalities among the Mandalorians. You have the Death Watch, who were kind of the old school traditionalist, and then you had the ones who could remove their helmet. So now you not only have, Din Djarin showing up, able to wield the dark saber. Of course, he's wielding it a little bit better, as we saw in the Book of Boba Fett. He actually hurt himself pretty bad. But the fact that now he has to choose. Now he has to basically like the bomb in the room, so to speak, is him having to choose. Does he want to be a leader? Does he want to rule a people? Does he want to be in charge of an entire system? Or is he willing to give all that up and still be kind of like the lone wanderer? I mean, as a leader, he'll always be hunted, but that's part of the Mandalorian code. I mean, we saw in season one, you know, when one chooses to walk the path of the Mandalore, you're both the hunter and the hunted. So, you know, what would happen when this lone person shows up and basically says, hey, by all rights and privileges, get off my throne? You know, how does that tie in? And then people are suggesting that Sabine Wren will also make an appearance. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It would be interesting if she did, because she has a history with, you know, the Night of a Thousand Tears and Bo-Katan, and she at one time wielded the dark saber. So there's a lot of history with that. It goes on to say that the Mandalorian season 3 will be released on December 25th. I'm not sure if that's true or not, because we're getting a lot of conflicting information. I don't know if Willow would be done by that time. I know Disney doesn't like to have their series fight each other. So I'm interested to see kind of what'll happen. According to this article, I'm sorry, it's the official trailer for Mandalorian Season 3 will be released on January 25th. Okay, that's good. You know, I'm all for trailers being released, but Christmas is a big thing in my family, so I don't want to have to say, "Hey guys, wait, I have to go to work. I need to I need to figure out what's going on with the Mandalorian." Today there's going to be that CCXP panel, which is going to be huge. We're going to have more news coming out of that. Now, the next thing after Mando is Ahsoka, which I'm actually interested in. I liked Star Wars Rebels. I'm hoping that they kind of pick up at the end of Star Wars Rebels. Now, we've seen in Mandalorian Season 2, Ahsoka's asking after Thrawn, which, of course, you know, Thrawn and Ezra, you know, vanished into deep space with those well creatures. I forget what they're technically called. But, I mean, it's one of those things of there's a lot of places to go with this. I mean, we've seen Ahsoka kind of show up with Luke, which is cool. That kind of ties that in. She basically all but rejects his offer to help him rebuild the Jedi, which needed to happen. I think it needed to happen, and I think she needed to tell him why, in a sense. But I like that they finally picked somebody to play Sabine, which it's Natasha Liu Bordizzo. I'm not quite sure who that is. But I really hope that they actually, not, of course they have to find, you know, Ezra, but, you know, what will Ezra do, you know, with Luke? Will Ezra join the Jedi Academy? Will, you know, Sabine return to Mandalore? What's going to happen with Ahsoka? What about Thrawn? I'm glad we're finally getting him live action. And kind of what's going to happen with that? I mean, there's so many ways that they could introduce this pathway of the different realities that Palpatine tried to get into during Star Wars Rebels. So it's, to me, it's almost an overwhelming thing of, okay, y'all got to pick somewhere. You know, what are you doing? Pick an idea and go with it here. But again, you know, it's all speculation, and speculation's half of the fun of it. It's, you know, what are they going to do? How are they going to do it? What's going to happen? Um, And I like that. Okay, I like that there's enough speculation. I love Rosario Dawson. Seen her in a bunch of stuff. Liked her in Clerks too. I liked her in the Percy Jackson movie. She's been in just a bunch of stuff. Really like her. And I respect the fact she keeps politics out of her work. I respect her even more for that. I really, really do. Because some actors can't do that. She can, and that's another reason I want to watch her stuff, is because she realizes that, hey, she's an entertainer and she understands that Star Wars is loved by millions of people across the world. Regardless of race, gender, political ideology, Star Wars is loved. And I like that she respects that. Now, switching gears a bit, they also talked about they they talked about the Bad Batch, which apparently is due to release January 4th. Again, not much information. We know that there's going to be cameos with Emperor Palpatine, Commander Cody, which, all those are great. I like the Bad Batch simply because it's everything Andor should have been but wasn't. Okay, you have a group of clones who are basically this spec op unit. If you've seen TV shows like The Unit or Tour of Duty or any of these kind of military style shows, you see how they work together and you see how they adapt and overcome, and they've basically become like the A team. Okay? They've basically become the A team, which I think is fun. I like the A team. I've been rewatching it, so that's kind of how I see the Bad Batch. Honestly, they need to have one for the 501st. Vader's Fist, whatever you want to call them, they need to have something similar. I think they're kind of waiting to see how the Acolyte does before they have more kind of Sith-driven shows, so that they can kind of test the waters. I mean, people tended to like Vader or the Vader scenes in Obi-Wan, which I thought was good. They did Vader justice in Rebels. So I'm curious to kind of see, like, if the Acolyte does well, are they going to do Darth Bane? Are they going to do like a Vader series? Kind of what are they going to do next? Because there's a lot of really great villains that need their time to shine. They really do. There's a sneak peek at Star Wars Visions second season, which apparently they're going more traditional anime. Thank God. Stop motion is good. Claymation style, I grew up watching a bunch of that stuff. That's great in theory, but if you look at shows like Castlevania, which is drawn a bit more of that kind of anime style, or He-Man and the Masters of the Universe from like 2002. People really like that kind of anime Japanese style, especially when it comes to fight scenes. So having it be leaning more traditional anime and less of how they, again, the stories were great in Star Wars Visions. I hated the animation style. I hated how they did everything. I just thought it was they were trying to be highbrow and failed miserably. Of course, a lot of this stuff we've already talked about. The Acolyte, Indiana Jones. I don't really care about Indiana Jones, and a bunch of other stuff too that's non-Star Wars related. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Loki Season 2, all that stuff. But what do y'all think about these little tidbits, these little breadcrumbs we're getting from Mandalorian Season 3? Do you think Din Djarin is actually going to take the Mandalore throne? Will Sabine make a cameo? What about Ahsoka? Are you excited to see more Ahsoka? more Sabine Wren, Ezra finally being on the big screen. What do y'all think about this? Let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.